report. Now the government also solidified the organization, gave them military, gave them now experienced people that will go, that will lead them in war in case to conquer the native. That is what happened. They were able to achieve anything they achieved today due to organization. The worst sickness we have as Biafrans, as Igbo people, is lack of organization. And you know what? That is primitivity. You know, when I say this, people maybe do not really dig deep to understand. Lack of organization is a sign of primitive Homo sapiens. Because you cannot, there is nothing you can do without organization. Without organization, I won't be broadcasting here talking to us. Without organization, there will be nothing like IPOB. If we allow ourselves to do your own thing, that is anarchy. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. It doesn't matter the talent you have. Without organization, all those things are zero. I'm telling you honestly, there's zero. You will just leave zero. That is organization. Our people should organize, should learn how to organize themselves. Just pretend to be, you know, let us not be behaving, I know it all. Why will this person lead? Well, you know, this is highly frustrating. Everybody knows it all. But we are suffering. Do you see how they are attacking us through fuel tank explosions? Headsmen, they are there. The headsmen, they are there. I played the voice of Nonsonkwa. Headsmen, they are there. Headsmen, they are there in our land, making life miserable for us. That is why ESN is there. Do you support ESN? Why will it be you hate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or you hate Mazi Chinasamuru, or Mazi Edoziem, or that is your only reason? You know our people, we are always very quick to judge the messenger, not the message. People don't care about the message. Who is talking? Oh, is this? I beg, leave him. Me, I don't like him. They don't care about what he's saying. It's very, very sad. We should rise up. I used to repeat what I'm saying. Had it been in 1966, they didn't attack the Igbos from every corner of Nigeria outside Biafra land. Had it been, they didn't attack them. If they left even one space, I say one space, maybe a Bada, maybe a lorry. Had it been they left them safe there, our people wouldn't have clamored for Biafra, for Biafra. I'm telling you. Everybody would have run and go to that Oyo. So, but I beg, we know one problem. Let us stay. Make we manage here until everything cool down. Make we manage here. That is a very, very evil mentality. Sometimes I'm seeing now, or why would the lowest of the low in this world? I don't know. People might be misunderstanding me, but it gives me worry, honestly. In our heads, I don't know. We love life like anything, and we cling to it. And now, our enemies have understood this. Yesterday, I gave example of Northern Vietnamese diehards that said they are ready to give 80% of their population. They are ready to sacrifice more than 80% of their population for them to be free, so that they will not be controlled, they will not be conquered by America. Do you understand what that thing means? It's very simple when you hear it, but when you think deep, you find out that this is not a joke. Our people, everybody wants to live, and we are dying like flies. I saw a very disturbing video that one person was crying. Let me check. Just, oh my God. One person was crying about whether his mother or his family. I want to you know, wailing. You know, it touches your bone. Somebody maybe is expecting, you saw maybe a few minutes ago, burnt by fire. That is beyond recognition. And our people they don't care as if nothing is happening. When it touches your side, now you will know. What is happening to our mentality, please? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Listen.
Jesus.
This is another.
Jesus.
Do you hear the cry of a man? Do you hear the cry of a man? Does it touch you? On the metal technology? Yeah? You are watching a very disgusting sight. Yeah? You know what it means to lose your loved one? But you are there, it doesn't touch you because you will go and give testimony that it's not your portion. Rather, it's a portion of your neighbor. It's a portion of your brother. Does it make sense at all? We are willing, and our people are doing nothing about it. They are going their businesses, going about their businesses as if nothing is happening in our land. Only IPOB is talking, doing something, support IPOB, support ESN. You say no, you don't care. You are waiting until when the thing will touch you. Sometimes if it touches you, you will die and you will not know that you are dead. But it will become problem to others. That is it. Oh, you know, you die in one pay. Others will be, your relatives will be crying, and you will not know that you are dead. Rather, it becomes problem to others. Why not we organize support ESN, support IPOB, so that we continue what we are doing? Because we are fighting a collective fight for our collective liberation. Without taking any much time longer, I am now joined by Mazi. Please. Mazi, please. Welcome to Viewpoint. As I said, today is the 29th day of the first month being January 2025. This is Viewpoint, where we discuss different things, different topics concerning our struggle, concerning world geopolitics. We analyze international geopolitics and our Biafra restoration project. Now, Mazi, please welcome to the program. Please begin by making your introductory statement. Mazi, can you hear me? Please go on.
Yes, Mazi, I can hear you live and clear. Good evening from here. I want to thank you for this great opportunity to be on your platform. And I want to also appreciate our great listeners. I understand that this platform is a noble one, considering the fact that It used to be a platform that was only listened mainly by the Biafran people. But today, everyone in Nigeria have hooked up on this platform because they understand that time and reality have pointed to the fact that there is nothing this platform preaches other than truth and freedom. I am Mazi Chika Austin, and of course, I'm here once again to be with you. Maz, I quite appreciate for this opportunity.
Mazi, are you hearing me? I was speaking. I don't know whether you are hearing me. Even I locked my this my microphone without knowing. So Mazi, as I said, I said that
Yes, I heard.
you
I
heard
heard
me,
you
eh?
clearly. I heard you
We
clearly.
let us start by analyzing the Trump administration, Trump coming back as the 47th American president. What does this signify to the world politics or the world order, present order? Go on, Mazi.
Okay. I hope I'm coming. I hope you are hearing me.
You are. The whole world is hearing you, please.
Okay. Well, the new administration in US, I want to make it brief as much as I can. Most of us who have been following my post and all the rest of it, some persons might say I'm a Trump centric, so to say, or I'm a pro Trump or whatever. Anyway, that my desire to support certain things or his re-election is basically based on ideology. I don't follow personality, I follow ideology. When your ideology is compatible to what I believe, I see the reason to follow that ideology, not individuals, so to say. So Trump is in opposite position with the established system in the global affair. Talking about the globalist agenda, the ideas that seem to be anti-humanity, and his emergence, though they try as much as possible to stop him at the level of campaign, not even allowing him to get close to Oval Office. But as time and season could prevail, he finds himself in Oval Office. So his re-election poses a strong challenge. And one will make himself fool to think that the world is not going to be shaken from foundation. Is really, really, really a serious time because some of the things we call status quo are going to be untorn. A lot of things we used to think is established norms and values are going to be challenged. And the most analysts have leverage on while analyzing his re-election is the fact that he doesn't have enough time, just 4 years. So he has 4 years to either feasting or get himself and his ideology being missed. That is it, Maz.
There were Mazi. Because some people are saying that it is a complete deviation from the status quo, or let me say, turn around from the status quo. But we must continue. Now, let's go dive a little bit deeper on Trump policies of cleansing or cleaning the USA of undocumented aliens, that is, illegal immigrants, of which, according to records, more than 3,600 or 3,900 Nigerians are waiting for deportation from United States. They are waiting to be deported from the United States. More than 3,900 or 3,600, more, something like that. And the Nigerian minister, is it Arewa? He says that Nigeria prepared to welcome migrants. That is, by the way, anyway. They are welcoming them with no electricity. Some of them will be killed in one way or the other within few time. Some will enter crime. Some because of frustration, you know. But we must continue. So, as I was saying, Trump's policies of cleaning the US of undocumented aliens, that is illegal immigrants, ending Ukraine-Russia war. He said in 24 hours, but we saw that he has failed in that timeline. Direct. Also, drilling of American huge deposits of oil and gas. Now, my question, which I want us to talk about in this, is: do you think that America could maintain her golden age, as Trump puts it? He said the golden era, the golden age of America begins begins from now. So, do you think that America could maintain her golden age without reaping and exploiting other countries? An example is China. China has transformed from an poor agrarian country to a very big dinosaur world power it is today, without sponsoring wars in other countries. You know, how China did their magic is also baffling. They don't go to other countries to interfere in their politics. They don't go as Europeans are doing or has been doing for time immemorial, and also joined by America. But China did their own. They don't interfere in people's countries' political affairs. But they are now a world power. Can I call it superpower? Yes, both economically, militarily, and otherwise. So, my question there, I want us to talk also is: do you think that America could maintain her golden age without reaping and exploiting other countries?
To me, Trump's declaration of golden age is not different from what American political history has been all about. Remember, certain presidents have come with what they believe as their political philosophy, and Trump has also come up with a political philosophy, which is golden age. But the question we should ask ourselves, what are the mechanisms of or the propellers to arrive at golden age, which he have declared? America has a very strong machinery, internal machinery, at which she has used to find herself on global stage. And that machinery is her military industrial complex. She has been able, historically speaking, she has been able to produce a certain weapons which she used to subjugate other parts of the world. If you look at the history of First World War, Second World War, you understand that America's prowess or America's announcement at the global stage is not on economic footprint, but it was basically on what she was able to deliver militarily. And that scared a whole lot of people of the planet. And everybody submitted to American leadership, not basically economic. So if Trump is announcing a golden age and he decides to propel or activate the military might of America as a tool of foreign influence. He has a lot of people to combat. Russia is also doing a whole lot of, innovations when it comes to military might. China, like you said, is also waxing strong, and there are also there are other emerging nations who are also doing incredibly when it comes to military innovations. Iran is there, Turkey is there, and some other nations. So, but I don't subscribe that Trump's political philosophy, which is the announcement of golden age, is going to be propelled by military might, because if he dares activate that, he's going to face a whole lot of opposition, and trust me, America is not going to find it well. But I believe strongly that what Trump is going to use is what I see as a political economy, which is going to center on protectionist ideology. You know, it is against what World Economic Forum believes on, the WEF, which is headquartered in Davos, Switzerland, talks about liberalized economy, borderless market system, and unrestricted access to global markets. But Trump understands that if so far America have been projecting that idea, and America has now competed favorably to China. China has been taking the advantage of borderless market, neoliberal political economic system to advance Chinese products and services. India is also maximizing that opportunity. So if America, which is lacking behind in competing in such economic ideology, does not review herself, definitely she will end up losing. If you look at the number of automobile consumption in America, you
Mazi,
find
can I
that
pause there and ask you also to talk about him? Well, when you talk about China taking advantage, likewise India, you cannot stop the flow of water naturally, or natural flow of water from up to down. Because when you look at things, how can, for example, how can I buy from a place that is more costly, you know, than, you see that American goods are more costly than Chinese goods. So, why is it so? And if it is so, naturally, China will be taking advantage because they are cheaper in what they are doing. Yeah, go on.
I would have wished to actually land up with my previous analogy so that I can connect certain things. But based on the question he asked, let me just hit this one immediately. You see, when people talk about Chinese product being cheap, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of lines people actually do not get it rightly. Chinese products are relatively cheap, or cheap, so to say, because of the labor policy in China, comparable to US. US has a very strict labor policy, and US labor policy is pro-labor, is advantageous to the workers, unlike in China. China has excess labor force, and because of that, whatever a producer offers to pay, people you see mass rush. Comparing to the fact, also attributing to the fact that apart from the excess labor, human labor that China is producing, China has also been able to integrate two factors at the same time, producing mechanical labor the same way human labor is coexisting. So even when human labor let's assume, decide to review and say, okay, we are going to have a strict condition, a producer can switch to mechanical labor, AI machines and all the rest of them. So in America, it's not the same. America has a very strong civil society organization, pro-labor civil society organization, NGOs that champions a stringent and favorable labor policies to the workers, unlike China. So when you have a relatively cheap production process, it's going to entail on the price of a product. Not necessarily like some people will say that Chinese products are cheap. It's not just cheap because, let's assume, substandard, because every country they want to push a product, those countries give them standard. They meet up the standard, yet things are cheap because of cheap labor system in China. So on the previous question you asked, which I wanted to, connect the lines before you raise this one. So I believe Trump golden age mantra is going to be propelled. He's going to use political economic system. He has started it already. We have seen it. He's trying to look inwardly. There are certain things America's, or should I say various American regimes have done that seem not to be well. For instance, Mazi, how can a country that has such a huge energy reserve, I'm talking about America, how can a country that has such energy reserve be going to other countries that are producing same oil and be liquidating their oil, buying their oil? It doesn't make sense. But America under Democrats abandoned her oil because of Paris Club agreement. The climate agreement, the Paris agreement. You remember the climate agreement in Paris? America have been a proponent of climate change, and because of that, they decide to shun fracking, oil exploration, rather buying from other people. And Trump is saying, no, if we are using our reserve to buy what we have, it doesn't make sense. And for him to achieve that, he first of all have to shun the climate, whatever, the climate change campaigns and all the day. He disregarded it. So personally, myself, I believe that the instrument at which Trump wants to achieve the golden age of America, which is possible, is going to be economic push, not military push. Because we are seeing what is happening in Panama. He wants to make sure American products can easily access global market without being taxed heavily in Panama. Because
that is also part of it could be regarded as a part of exploitation, intimidation, isn't it?
People might call it that, but if you look down properly to his move in Panama, you find out that it's not really intimidation. Why I say it's not that? Because there was an agreement. It was America that invested in that canal. It was America that opened that canal. And there was an agreement that are going to last for so period of time. But what happened is this. Because certain American regime have been weak towards getting those agreements done or follow strictly, China used that opportunity to, influence Panama's government. And even Panama's government leased that canal to Chinese firm.
Sorry, we have to be also factual, because I think the foreign minister or the president of Panama has come to debunk this, that China has nothing to do in Panama. Please go on, please.
Yes, well, Mazi, it is a diplomatic culture for you to deny. There is no thing as far as international politics is concerned. Even when cameras are facing you and you're bringing down a 3-story building fully occupied by human beings, it is normal for you to say it's not. But it's only when documents start coming you can now find a way to have a safe landing. But we also have seen circulating videos where they are trying to, debrand certain Chinese signages in those areas. So, that is a Southern American politics, and it's strictly for them. But I believe, like you asked, I believe that what Trump wants to champion is economic prowess against military prowess.
Okay, we move. In other words, also, in order to substantiate what I said before, like you see, there is this Chinese AI investment or startup that costs only $6 million versus 250 billion of big American US cloud companies, of such. The same thing in China, it costs little, but in America, huge sum of money. So, anyway, everybody has the right to their own form of industrialization. China
Yes,
has a
Mazi, it's
big
also
population,
important.
a huge
Mazi,
population
it's
of
also
people.
important.
Yes.
It's also important to look at political system in China and America. China has a very strict political system. If the Communist Party of China says to you, they have this 10 years economic policy plan. I don't know if you have taken time to study the system of Chinese development. They always have is it 5 years or 10 years? I might not really be accurate. Economic plan. It doesn't matter who is there. You must follow it strictly. They map it out. Now, look at one of those things we should also understand. America is a center of bureaucracy and institutional
Sorry,
corruption.
you say it's the center of bureaucracy or democracy?
Bureaucratic
Eh?
system. Bureaucracy.
Go on, go on, go on, go on.
Do you understand? Yes. And also institutional corruption. For instance, you cannot see something like Pentagon. Pentagon to today cannot even have a functional auditing process. That is how corrupt the system is. So in China, if Chinese government say to you, we need this AI project to be delivered in the next 3 months, and this is get your proposal. The person bidding for that contract for the Communist Party knows that if he overinflates the project, definitely he's going to get his life spent in the prison. He knows that. He also understood too well that if he defaults in the delivery of that project, he will hate why he was born. That is China for you. That is the system in China. But in America, just like in the zoo, there are a lot of processes, and in course of building up those, passing through those processes, a lot of things are being padded. So some of this money they called in America that seem to be lesser in China is as a result of political system. American institution has a whole lot of corrupt system. Just the billions you always hear they gave to Ukraine. How many of that volume gets to Ukraine? That is American system. And that also must also be considered. Very, very important.
Okay. Anyway, that is every country have or has their system of governance, and also it shows that there is no one way to heaven. It depends on your ability to develop your system, which China has proved. China have proven themselves right. I could remember at the early time in 80s, 70s, 80s, America every time was on top of China. Oh, human rights abuses, oh, this and that. But today, they have come out to show that there are different ways to heaven. There is not only one way to advancement or development of a country. You can develop your own system and go get the same result. So, in another situation, I want you to talk about, is Trump administration in policy confrontation with his EU and NATO allies? Is Trump administration in policy confrontation with his EU and NATO allies?
Well, from Abini Shumazi, if Trump is truly ready to deliver what he promised to the American people and by extension the people of the world, he will definitely have issue with EU. He will definitely have issue with NATO. You know, if you look at his argument, especially on NATO, you know, every NATO member contributes 2% of their GDP. And most of them do not meet up that contribution. And Trump is saying, if you want to be enjoying American protection, you have to move from 2% to 5%. What does that mean? These are people, some of them are finding it difficult to contribute 2% of their GDP to NATO fund, common fund. And you are not telling them to move on to 5% or you withdraw protection on them. And you can now see some people like, you know, a bloc like EU, European Union, is now saying, let them float their own army. Because before they said that, they have consulted with Trump severally, seeing if he's going to, you know, toe down on that demand. And he's saying, no, there's no how America will be protecting you for free. You must pay in for it. There is no free meal in any part of the world. So invariably, he's going to have problem with NATO members on that ground. Then on EU, which EU is mainly economic integrational projects. EU is mainly for economic projects. And Trump's problem with EU is this, that EU members states always want a free access to American market. And Trump is saying, no, if you want a less tariff from American market, you must also open your market on the same basis. And this is a whole lot of arguments. And it also boils down to the deceptive tone when people say we want a free market system. And in the same way, you want a free market system, yet you are being protectionist to your market. You are shouting one thing with your lips, you're doing the same thing with your hand. So that's exactly what is playing now. So if anybody thinks there is going to be a less fight between US, NATO, EU, then the person should also be thinking towards these guys adjusting their position. Because you know Trump is a very stubborn man. And he maintains consistency so far. So, if you look at his first regime, even when they did everything to get him out of the way, he remained consistent. So I don't think he can easily back out from this guy. Already he's trying to see if he can have us, you know, open new markets for America, not even EU. Look at his areas he's putting on pressure much. He's looking at Russian market. He's looking at Chinese market. So he's trying to define a new Silk Road, so to say, for American products and services, including in India. He's also working assiduously to see what he can get from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And these are big, big markets, so to say. Maz.
How in all this, how do you think that all these Trump policies, how do you think that it can affect our struggle, either positively or negatively? Because also when you look at also when they say Nigeria has vast natural resources, it's mostly in Biafra land. Mostly there are other mineral resources, mostly in other parts of Nigeria, like in the north. You have different others. But how do you think that this could affect our struggle?
Okay, Mazi, I think there have been an age-long mentality we have in the struggle that I think we should either review it or we have a problem. And what is this age-long? You see, this idea we always lost that a certain president comes in, then uh, naturally things start setting in for us. That is an aberration and is also a self-deception. You see, until we build up that mindset of engaging people, engaging blocks, engaging powers, then we will keep on messing up, fooling ourselves. It doesn't matter how, fantastic we want to talk to ourselves. Trump emergence have a whole lot of opportunities for us. This is my personal view, as a matter of fact. But opportunities that are not being approached will definitely not materialize. It's a natural sequence. When people see opportunity, you have to go for it. Now, for instance, Nigeria is already in an economic mess, no doubt about it. The country is facing a severe economic hardship. The government is even struggling to see how to procure certain equipments she needs. And remember, this is a country that depends heavily in oil. And Trump himself is only interested to flood OPEC market with American oil, thereby giving pressure on global oil market price. And you know, when the price is on the negative, I mean downward, definitely it affects a lot of countries, especially countries that that fail to diversify. So naturally, Trump administration is going to weaken Nigeria economy. And if you have a weak Nigeria, it's a natural sequence. If you have economically weak country, you will win more hearts, you will win more supporters, you will win more people who will encourage for the disintegration of the unworkable entity. It's a natural thing. When a system is not working, people start agitating for destruction of that system. So, for the fact that Trump is a pro-fracking president, he believes it already. He has given order for exploration, oil exploration in Alaska. That is one of the executive order he signed, because he wants to make sure America does not buy anybody's oil. And because America does not buy anybody's oil, he will flood American oil in the international market and pressure countries that even buy from Nigeria to depend on America. He will pressure them. For instance, as I speak to you now, Dangote have ordered 12 million barrels of oil from America because a deal is already going on. So if a domestic refiner is already placing a demand from America, that shows you what few months holds for Nigeria. So the advantage of that to us is this. You get to a point that even the federal government cannot even, pay salaries because of duress. And remember, a typical Nigerian politician is this: when exchange is low, I mean when foreign trade is on the negative, you see them printing money. So what is going to happen is that the pressure is going to be on Naira to a point that if care is not taken, Naira is going to be hitting 4,000 or 5,000 to a dollar. And in so doing, is a hyperinflation already. Then people naturally will say, let us scatter this table. Because it's only when a system is starving them that they even, campaign on their own. What is going on in Nigeria today is because the system is failing. That's why you go to North, you see people are beginning to say, Arewa, let us talk of Arewa. Even though you might say they are not serious, but it's a process. A consciousness is going on. in Oduduwa land, people are saying, let us stop. If the system is favorable to them, if the system is workable to them, nobody can come and start telling you Oduduwa, Arewa, or even Biafra. So the advantage is that the economic policy of Donald Trump is going to weaken Nigeria more. And when Nigeria is weakening more, Mazi, you should know better than me. The USSR collapsed because the economy collapsed. Am I correct?
Yeah, of course, of course.
So when a system economy is collapsed, naturally that system collapse. That is on the one hand. Now, another thing we also should take into our heart is this. Trump seemed to be, or I won't say seem to be, he's a crusader. You know that. And being a crusader, he reflects that his personal part of life into American administration. One of those things Trump dealt with Buhari government was religious backlisting. It's not that much far, if we can recall our mind. And you remember this great movement took advantage of that to push for the backlisting of Nigeria. Remember, it happened when Lai Mohammed was accusing us of bringing old videos and old pictures. We should also understand that angle can also be capitalized well if we understand the importance of it. So these are some of the things. And also finally, if you also look at in terms of security, so far so good. This is my personal expectation. I've expected the US government to, oppose the AES, the Sahelian states, from getting out of ECOWAS, just the way EU is against it. EU is not happy with that development. I expected Trump government to also do on the part of EU. But what are we seeing? We discovered that even Trump government is not even interested. It seems not to be interested in opposing those guys. Neither is he interested to even oppose Russia in Sahel. What that means is that security-wise, you can see Nigeria Chief of Army Staff today in Borno, where he's begging the countries and say, even though you are leaving ECOWAS, please don't leave the joint multinational task force, because only Nigeria cannot combat the insurgents. So these are some of the things that are severe problem Nigeria is going to face, because Trump is not going to be interested to shake Russian interests in Sahel, and that will make Nigeria to be at the mercy of whatever those guys think or whatever the Russians think. So, Master, that is on that.
Okay, we continue moving on. Now, let us come to the issue of Europe. When you see how Europe is fighting very dirty against their own brothers, European brothers, or Eastern Bloc, I should say, like Russia, they are sponsoring Ukrainians to die in their proxy war. They don't care. What matters is what they want to achieve. They don't care how many lives are lost daily. That is, the Europeans are fighting dirty, even against their own brothers, European brothers. They are sponsoring massive political unrest in countries where the population just maybe leaning towards Russia, such as, let's say, Georgia. You see what is happening, Georgia, Belarus, Slovakia, Hungary. Yes, and even blocking self-determination of some countries, some nations you can call breakaway nations, like Transnistria of Moldova, from Moldova, Abkhazia. Transnistria, this they ordered the Ukrainian president to off the gas. And today they are suffering heavily because they are in midwinter. So you see, they don't care. When these Europeans don't care about the lives of their brothers, their fellow Europeans, in order to get their political objective, you go to places like Abkhazia is also a breakaway of this nation from Georgia. You have South Ossetia. You know, they sponsor the cancelling of Romanian presidential election due to fear of a pro-Russia far-right victory, and others. Many things are happening even in Europe today. Many things. These people are fighting dirty. Now, do you think that these people will leave Africa so easily? When they can fight their own brothers like that, they don't care about the lives of. If you watch Ukrainians, and the Ukrainian military are now going from street to street, catching their citizens, boys like rats, forcing them to go and die in the front. It doesn't touch the Europeans. They are watching. They are even telling them that they need to bring down the military age to 18 years. Mazi, the thing, it baffles me. They don't care about their fellow brother. Look, these people they fight dirty. They fight dirty. They don't care. They say lock off that gas, so that even if the whole of the population die of cold, they don't care. What matters to them is that they want. Mazi, it seems you are. Oh, you are. This thing is not connecting, but we must continue. So this is where it baffles me. Mazi, are you back? This is where it baffles me. Considering when you see these people, they don't take the lives of their brothers. Like when you study history, you will see that I used to repeat it several times. Europeans fought tribal wars more than in Africa. They wanted to finish themselves. That is true. It's a fact. It's a historical fact. Now, when you look at all these things, you now start thinking, say, how can these people leave Africa go easily like this when they don't care about the lives of their own brothers because of their political view? Now, talk less of people that are different from them, people that they hold hostage like Africans. Do you think they will easily leave Africa to go? Mazi?
Well, Mazi, for you to have a better understanding of what is going on in Europe, you better discuss it from ideological divide. Europe is not facing racial conflict. It's not racial conflict. Though some people might want to narrate it towards that, angle, but Europe is not facing racial conflict. What Europe is facing is ideological conflict. And why is it dangerous?
Sorry, Mazi, conflict is conflict, though, whether it is ideological or racial.
But Mazi, I want us to, in order to simplify it so that our people will understand better. When you're facing a racial conflict, it's easy to solve. But when that conflict metamorphoses into ideological battle, trust me, that society is lost. And that is exactly the case of Europe. The problem, like you did mention, is a far right and the left, Europe is ideologically divided. As far as politics is concerned in Europe, as far as economy is concerned, they are ideologically divided. Now, let me now tell you something. This has evolved to a point that certain, the divided lines are now feeling that this is a war for survival. I want us to understand something. It has grown up to a point that they are now saying either we hold this thing or we'll be into extinction. The same thing happened in America, and it is going to get worse. There's nothing anybody can do about it. But I also believe, as someone who is passionate about history, I believe that every society has a period of decline. I strongly believe that the Western countries are really facing their age of decline. Because if you look at all the nonsense they have been trying to stop the right wing, like you pointed out, Slovakian president was almost assassinated. Hungarian president was also almost killed while addressing a parliament in Brussels. And there's so many attempts on the lives of even Vladimir Putin. If you go to Germany today, they almost blacklisted the far right group. The same thing happened in France. So it is something that is evolving in a very dangerous dimension that Europe is going to be engulfed into crisis. And remember, the emergence of Trump have, at the time the right, the rightists, so to say, permit me to use that word, the rightists in Europe were afraid afraid for survival. But the emergence of Trump gave them boost. And you can see some of them have regained energy. And whether you like it or not, the leftists are not going to also give way easily. So what we are going to see in Europe in a very short period of time is ideological battle that is going to lead to, if nothing is done, into European extinction. And how is it going to affect Africa? Already, that concept is already, what is happening in Europe is already having influence in Africa. If not the lack of cohesion among these people in Europe, in Paris, France would not have been losing her places in Africa just the way it is. It's because if you look at French politics internally, you discover they are ideologically divided.
Of course,
The
yeah.
right people are not considered. The right people, the rightists in France are saying, no, let us look inward. Let us build ourselves. Let us protect our borders. Let us send these mass migrants back to their country. Let them build their country by themselves. Let them focus and live their life. And the leftists are saying, no. And that divided line culminated into a weak foreign policy mechanism. And that was what we saw in Sahel. So in UK too, if you look at what is also happening in UK, you will also discover that if you look at UK and the Nigerian government relationship, you will not discover that even UK is not really on the front line of assuring Nigeria of our future. There seems to be this a sick body guide system going on in Nigeria. Before you will hear UK Prime Minister comes, you will hear UK this come, you will hear, succeeding press statement, press assurances. UK said they will do this, Nigeria this is this. But it seems as if UK is not that healthy in projecting that her image. And that's why France seemed to take that opportunity of the vacuum. So what is happening in Europe is going to really help Africa. Because weak Europe is going to lead to the awakening of the indigenous people to rightly position themselves. It's not only leveraging on Biafran region or Biafran areas. Even across the Sahel, we can now see gradually there is a transition from the contracted element who are the Fube group. When I talk about the Fube, we are talking about the Continental Fulani group, which happens to be the contractors to these Western people. But we are seeing them losing a lot of ground. It's already happening. Trajectory is already happening because Europe is getting weak. Those they are using to destabilize Africa are also getting weak. So that connectivity, that bond, strong connectivity is gradually fizzling out because their source of strength is also weakening. So Mazi, invariably there is an interconnection. It's a symbiotic in nature. So there's no how we say it's not going to affect Africa. Weak Europe definitely is going to bring a redefined destiny in Africa. But that can also happen if we should be sincere to ourselves. If there is a high consciousness of political knowledge. Our people, when you ask them to be acquainted with political science, understand political developments, they seem to be skeptical about it. But you can't run away from it, Mazi. You can never run away from it because everything involves within it. It's a social phenomenon you can never delink easily from. So that can also happen when, like, this platform you have been using to educate us, when this platform is being encouraged consistently to maintain this awareness. So that is all I have to say on that.
Yeah, well, Mazi. And yes, there's something I take out from one huge point also among the points you made about the weak Europe because of their internal ideological differences. While Macron almost lost in a vote of no confidence. He escaped it in a whiskers.
Yeah,
So he narrowly escaped. That is it, because the French people are blaming him of the catastrophe that is happening in their influences waning in Africa, and it is source of their livelihood. Africa is source of their livelihood, so it also raises this right people to vote. Who for some years back, when their far right leader Jean-Marie Le Pen was blabbing, who thought that he will rise to this extent to be the main opposition? Because he was succeeded by the daughter, Marie Le Pen. So, but today they are seeing the reality, honestly, in Europe, and Africa should take advantage now. And in taking the advantage, we are also seeing. Let us come to Africa also. A war that is going on in Congo. All of a sudden, a few days back, the thing escalated. The M23 rebels, they took the city of Goma, which is the capital of North Kivu. And that eastern Congo is very rich, the richest part of Congo. Now, Congo has the world for our information. Congo has the largest deposit of cobalt, coltan, and tantalum. Remember, the highest producer in the whole world. And these are rare earth elements that are being needed for electric cars, for all these, even missiles, different types of technologies. These are some of all these things are being sought for in space. When you see that they are launching satellite, they are launching this on space, they are also trying to gather to see whether they can get all these rare earth materials from the outer space, the debris from outer space. But Congo has it. Now, on February 19th, 2024, that was last year, the EU signed a memorandum of understanding with Rwanda for, and I quote, integration of sustainable raw materials, value chains, and the support for economic diversification, ensuring good functioning and the sustainability of these value chains. In other words, what all this big grammar means is that they signed agreement, memorandum of understanding with Rwanda to be supplying them with all these rare materials from some part in Rwanda. Rwanda has a little, but Congo has it all. And Rwanda has border with Rwanda is a neighboring country with Congo. So, and Rwanda has been sponsoring these rebels because some of them are ethnically the same people. So they have been sponsoring this. So now Brussels, that is European Union, now saw the opportunity in order they now sign this memorandum of understanding instead of going directly to Congo president, Kinshasa president, Tshisekedi. Now they go because maybe they see that he's shifting and he's saying no. Maybe the price, maybe the conditions he don't want. That is how they do. Because let me also digress a bit. we are always listening or hearing they are talking of a military coup in Sahel, in bring them kill, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, in Mali, this and that. But how how many of us are hearing of the military coup that took place in Gabon? they just narrowed it down as if normal. They are not talking about it. The reason is that France orchestrated that military coup because the former president, what is the name? What is the name of that former the son of the other
Ali
president?
Bongo.
Bongo, yes, Ali Bongo. The former president, who is Ali Bongo, was trying now to be disloyal to France in one way. He is trying to understand and say sometimes for France we say no. Now they quickly arrange that military coup. They say before Otahia or Mazi Ekele, before what happened in Burkina Faso will happen in Gabon. So they used their own man. France arranged their own man and immediately took power. That is why you don't hear it. They don't shout about it that is a military coup, no sanctions, everything, because it is for them. Do you see the difference? Now, they are now using Rwanda in order to get what they cannot get directly from Congo, because Congo now is trying to wisen up. You see? So, now, you see all these things degenerated after the and for you. Let me also say this for people listening, because whenever we talk about mineral resources in Nigeria, we talk about oil and gas. There are many mineral resources. I don't know. Our brother is battling with either technical or internet problem. Now, let me continue in what I'm saying. I was saying, Nigeria, for your information, is the 4th biggest producer of tantalum. Fourth, number 4. Congo is number 1. Rwanda 2. I think Rwanda 2. Yes. Brazil number 3. China 4. Nigeria 4. Number 4th of tantalum. For your information, and this tantalum, Mazi, you're back. This tantalum, I don't know whether you are hearing me, right? Indicate.
Mazi, I'm here.
Okay. Now, as I was saying, Nigeria is the 4th biggest producer of a very vital rare earth called tantalum. This tantalum is used as a capacitor or resistor in a variety of electronic equipments, such as computers, cell phones, and medical devices, and more. Nigeria, you are seeing. But do you hear about it? They are mining it instead in places like Nasarawa, in Kogi, in Oshu, Ekiti, Kwara, and across the river. They are mining it. So they don't declare it. These are things they are taking us. That is why Nigeria insecurity you are seeing everywhere. There is a reason. So what am I trying to say? Now, Congo, when you look at what happened, some foreign embassies, including American, Belgium, Rwandan, French embassies, were attacked in Kinshasa the other day, about 2 days ago, yesterday and 2 days ago. And some were even looted and burnt. Something that you never think of, to go and face almighty American embassy by Africans. So, Mazi, that is why I also agree with you that the awakening is coming. The political awareness is encroaching into the mindset, into the subconscious of Africans now. For them to understand, they are understanding little by little the cause of their misery. That look, they are no, like what happened in Congo. It couldn't have happened maybe it is something capable maybe 20 years back. Because of what is happening, how these rebels were immediately they took over cities in eastern Congo. People reacted in other parts of Congo. And he say, I give it as a credit. So, but when it comes to our land, just like you said, Mazi, you're on ground zero. How are people political or being conscious politically? How are people thinking about when you are talking about knowledge of political, call it science, or knowledge of politics that is happening around you, both far and near? Because what happened in Congo, it shows that people are waking up to understand the real cause of their problem. You understand? So, what are you going to say about it, Mazi, please?
Well, Max, the issue of Congo, you have really made a very clear presentation of what is going on there. Where the Rwanda president, we understand he's eyeing it's all about, it's just resources control. That is what is actually going on in Congo, and he's using advantage to the fact that in Eastern Congo you have the Tutsi, which is an ethnic group in Rwanda. So they started asking them to seek for self-determination. You know, they have been called rebel, but I might not really choose to call them rebels because they are also asking for self-determination. But what happened is this: the issue became so complex because the government of Rwanda is using them or using their quest for self-determination as an expansionist drive. So even when they are being granted what they want, definitely Rwanda is going to coerce them into being part of Rwanda because of the resources in that part of Congo. And also, owing to the fact that Congo has been a deep pro-China and pro-Russia, the Chinese invested heavily because of the resources you highlighted, you know, in Congo. The Chinese have invested extensively there. Russians also have a very cordial relationship. So what the West wants is to destabilize that move. But I think what the reaction they got in Congo also shows that the people are fed up with Western hypocrisy, because many Western countries also condemn the taking off of Goma and the airport and some assets of the Congolese government. Hypocritically, they condemned it, but yet they are the ones funding that conflict in Congo. So what the Congolese did is an indication that there is a strong growing anti-West in Africa. It's happening in West Africa, it's happening in East Africa, it's happening in South African region, it's happening even in Northern African region. So it's going to get to a point that any country, that's exactly what Nigeria is facing today. Any country that seems to be pro-West is going to be isolated by the rest of Africans. And that is what is likely going to happen. And I want us to expand the issue that is going on in Congo to see how dangerous everything is evolving to. You know, in that Congo, you have a Sadiq peacekeeping operation. South Africa has military personnel in that Congo that have been
The
observing
Congo actually had the largest contingent of United Nations everywhere in the world. The Congo has it, right, for many years. I think more than 15,000 personnel.
And over 13 South African personnel were killed. And you know what that means? And the whole member state of SADC, the South African sub-regional group, have been condemning that and even asked South Africa possibly to declare war on M23 group. So is an issue that is having a dangerous development. But one thing we also have to understand in that issue is this: Because when things happen like this, it's a moment for us to learn. If you look at the M23 group, there are not many looking at numerical strength compared to the Congolese formation. But do you know why they have success? And that is one thing we have not learned, or one thing we have shied away from learning from. Any day you want to engage on armed struggle and they don't have a reliable neighboring country as an ally, forget it.
Of
It's a
course.
suicide mission.
Of course. You're right.
It's literally a suicide mission. Why the M23 is having a successful operation is because they have Rwanda, a state actor, who procures arms because she's a legitimate buyer. She buys the arms and transfers it to the M23. A state actor encouraging a non-state actor to achieve what she wants to achieve. And that's why it's successful. They gather intelligence and relate to the M23. So our people should
And they can
understand
also, they also use their territory for training, for retreat. You know, I mean Rwandan territory. Yes.
So
Go.
our people should understand that this process we need engagement. You must have a geopolitical engagement, an active one, not even a passive one. Because if we don't understand this realism, we end up being on the suicide path. So apart from other things that are happening in Rwanda, that should be an epicenter of learning for our people. Because, you know, when people were being deceived, shouting water, water, you see people jumping up because of our low IQ. We must understand the importance of forceful diplomatic engagement. You must engage. You must engage. If not, you disengage. There's no two ways about it. Except we are not yet serious with the journey we are embarking. Because those guys you are seeing, the M23 group, their success lies on what Rwanda is able to give, the support they are getting from Rwanda. It's not on their monthly contribution, no, Mazi. It's not on fundraising, no.
Mazi, I understand.
It's not on fundraising or monthly dues. Those things can only sustain campaign awareness process. It can never sustain direct conflict. Fundraising, what is it called? Monthly dues are just awareness campaign sustainers, substance for awareness campaign, not for armed struggle. Every armed struggle every successful armed struggle in life must have a state actor backup. There's no two ways about it. And our people should understand it from that perspective for healthy end purposes. That is what I want to say, Matt.
Mazi, coming there, let me ask you direct. You know, although you wanted to touch it some time ago, I want to ask you that is on ground zero. How do you see our people's reaction or consciousness when it comes to this political development inside and outside our immediate environment? How do when you engage with people there, how do you see their are they conscious of really what is happening, or are they only interested in what they can get? PDP as you know, just give us a glimpse a bit, please.
Well, Mazi, before I respond to that, I will use something vivid, more vivid to expatiate on that. You see, before now, our people used to An average brother or sister of ours used to use the word in the house at the bad and that say mainline. Do you understand me? Prior to IPOB's campaign, an average Igbo man, or by extension Biafra, always leverage his anger on Hausa man. It took IPOB's consistent and quality campaign to let our people understand that Hausa man is innocent. There is a man hiding behind him, using his name to commit crime. His name is Fulani man. And do you know what? Today, our people seem to be free with Hausa man, but hostile to Fulani man. Courtesy of the leaders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's effort to dissect and make a kind of anthropological separation between the evil Fulani man who is hiding under the identity of a Hausa man to commit crime and claim innocent while the blame goes to an Hausa man. And today that have sink in the minds of our people. Courtesy of consistency in enlightenment. Now, coming back to the question you asked me, our people were almost in zero political awareness or consciousness before the emergence of IPOB. But now, our people have been able to be, being abreast with critical thinking. You cannot say they are below 50% in understanding political developments. And that is why the governors are unsettled. Politicians are unsettled. Why are they unsettled? They are not unsettled because of anything. They are unsettled because the campaign, the political consciousness you are implanting in the minds of the average man is a threat to their falsehood and double standard. If everything is okay, if people are still floating on the foolish frequency, the governors will not be panicking. They will not be blackmailing IPOB. But for the fact that people are beginning to rationalize issues, people are beginning to ask questions, our people are beginning to be interested in geopolitical development, things beyond Nigeria, across Nigeria. People have developed interest to discuss it. Unlike before, we are more akin with Nyem Rob, 20 naira, Nyem change him. That is why the mainstream politicians are unsettled with such development and evolution. So if anybody tells you our people are not waking up, our people, that person is being extremely economical with the truth. Remember, we are fighting with a wealthy system, fighting against a wealthy system with less resources and relatively, should I say, materials at our disposal. But our media effort to inculcate the ideal knowledge in our people is really result oriented. I must tell you that, Mazi.
That is encouraging, Mazi. Your positive answer is also encouraging, because sometimes you'll be thinking that, look, we are just talking to ourselves. But I think it's not like that. So let us come to the Sahel also, the Sahel region. In the Sahel, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger Republic, they have taken the bold step of openly taking their country's destinies in their own hands by not only expelling some Western military garrisons, but they also removed themselves from the traditional ECOWAS that is Economic Community of West African States, citing ECOWAS as a Western proxy of neocolonialism. They formed this Alliance of Sahel States, ASS, which would have been unthinkable a few years back. My question is Africa rising up to understand or to understanding the cause of their misery and the need to fight for genuine freedom? I also saw in on the social media the unveiling by Burkina Faso of their two brand of electric cars, electric vehicles, something that they will not that it could have been unthinkable maybe 5 years back, because they would have been thinking of what to eat, how to even how to beg France to feed them. But today, you see what is happening. So what the question there is Africa rising up to understand or to understanding the cause of their misery and the need to fight for genuine freedom? You know, I've asked you this question before. What do you think of the mindset of our people when it comes to fighting for freedom? Please take it there.
The question you asked in respect to the development in Sahel, but I want us to understand something. The boldness you're seeing those guys exhibiting in Sahel is traceable to some African countries earlier before now. You know, in Igbo adage, I say, "Nnewu na-eri na-ata achara, nwa ya na-ene ya," you know. When a goat, the mother goat eats the grass, the baby goat observes. You see, why you see those boldness brought to that time, those guys, especially the leaders in these AES countries, they were observing certain things in Africa. You know, South Africa has been a country in Africa that have boldly stood against Western bullying in Africa. South Africa have taken a whole lot of bullying. And a lot of Africans have also observed how South Africans have tried to swim across these complex water tributaries and all the rest of them. And in other way around, in their neighborhood, they have also seen a deeply Western-oriented country called Nigeria that doesn't even have anything for her own except pleasing the Western oligarchs and imperialists. And they have observed these two countries. These supposedly to be two largest economies in Africa. One in a southern region, or should I say southern hemisphere, and the other one in western hemisphere of Africa. Now, when the coup happened, or the change of government, I choose to use the word when the change of government happened, because coup seemed to be somehow antagonizing. When the change of government happened in this region, every African country was in observatory position. South Africa was observing, Egypt was observing, Algeria, Morocco, they were all observing. It was only Nigerian state that sounded a bullying tune. I repeat, every other African country, immediately that change of government happened in that region. Every other African country was keenly observing. It was only Nigeria that sounded so bullying and dictatorial. And I could remember I said, this is the worst move Nigerian government has ever made, because you have sent a wrong signal. Remember, it was that tune of giving them 48 hours to restore the ousted president that led to them to, first of all, close their borders, close their airspace, You remember? And only allow their airspace to be accessed by the Russians and their Wagner group. I remember within that time, Tinubu had to travel to an European country because there is no how you will travel to Europe without accessing these guys' airspace.
Yes.
You must. Do you know Tinubu? They told Tinubu that Nigerian air presidential flight, that if he crosses their airspace, they will bring it down. Nigeria had to beg them. Beg them. There was a diplomatic plea. Please allow us, allow our president. We wouldn't mind to settle. And when Tinubu was to return again, Nigeria also have to ask them, should we start coming back? And they extended mercy on Nigerian presidential jet to access. Now, you see, because of that thing Nigerian government did, these guys have to now start thinking practically. And what is the practical? That Nigeria is a big country. If they want to fight Nigeria on individual country scale, Nigeria will consume them. There's no two ways about it. Nigeria demographical strength will swallow Niger. It has no comparison of any sort. Nigeria will overrun Niger if she wants.
Mazi, for me, it is easier said than done. Boko Haram has been there because there will be very big sabotage. You know.
Yes, Mazi, we are looking at facts before us. We are discussing issue of political science, and we must look at fact. There is no closeness when you look at what Nigeria has and what Niger on individuals as an individual nation has. But the truth remains, this guy now came to the realization that if they confront Nigeria on individual scale, they will have a problem. They have to now form this alliance. This alliance is mainly a military alliance. So they can have a common resources, they can have an equitable number of military personnel. Peradventure, Nigeria decide to take it up with them. They can have a common resources to combat. They told themselves the truth. They analyze from realistic point of view. And you see what it evolved to. Today, officially they left ECOWAS today. And look at the implication. I don't know if you want to ask anything, or should I advance to the implication?
Continue.
Now, look at the implication of the whole thing. Those guys are not ready in any way to share anything with Nigerian state, because they have come to the realization that in as much as they have a big country like Nigeria that is deeply rooted in Western control, that their own government is at threat. They know it. These guys know it. That in as much as Nigeria keeps existing, their future is in doubt. And you know what happened? When they took over, they were so careful how to relate to Nigeria in
Mazi. Okay, go on.
the putting up threats. And it got to them that Nigeria is not only putting a threat, Nigeria is also making a move to get French, which they spell to be closer to them. They say no. And joke, Lukuwara took off from Nigeria and came to to Niger, sabotage their major source of income, which is the oil, which they export through Benin Republic. And they came to realization that, oh, we are now in Cold War. We are now in a asymmetric war. No gun is going on, but something is happening. Do you know the consequence? They now come back and say to Nigeria, okay, if what you now want us to fight is food war, let us fight in a better way. You can now see what they did. All the terrorists in Sahel, they gave them a passage access and say, either you leave to Nigeria and cause the problem, or you die. And that's also exactly what is going on. They are now pushing the terrorists in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, and telling them you have an option to leave only if you can go to Nigeria. And you can see what is going on in the in North today. Just within 3 weeks now, North is uninhabitable, and people are being killed every day. Terrorists are not seem to be overcoming the Nigerian military formation. That is why today the Nigeria Chief of Army Staff is begging these guys, though you people are leaving ECOWAS, I beg, don't leave the multinational military task force. Because within 2 weeks interval, these boys told the terrorists to move down to Nigeria and if they want to survive. Nigerian army has lost a lot of personnel, including materials. The Chief of Army Staff had to go today and start pleading with them. But to me, it's too late. So these are some of those things we are going to face. Because the terrorists are going to, is already moving down to Abuja. People are now being kidnapped in Abuja. And of course, we are not also safe. It's important to also understand it. Because we are not also safe. Except we took it upon ourselves to build an independent defense line, which ESN stands for. Very, very, very important. Because these terrorists are barbarics in nature. As they are floating down to south, already the Yoruba land is already facing the heat. And our land, of course, they are also, the intelligence is also pointing that they are also trying to build, they have came during Buhari time and they saw hell. They were fiercely repelled by ESN. But they are making a new encroachment. So these are some of the disturbing situations we have. So the issue in Sahel is a kind of it has a dual outlook. It is positive and is also negative. It is positive because as those guys are, if you extend contact with them, you can have some nerves, some positive nerves. It is negative because most of the terrorists they are giving access to, flood Nigeria, have no limit of where they can stop, which Biafra land will also be threatened by their president. So that is what I have to say, Mazi, on that.
Now, when we come to like Tinubu's embracing of France, because politics is as complicated or sophisticated as ever. Don't you think that Tinubu is also playing the politics of his own personal survival? Because of him being a Yoruba person in power, maybe he didn't trust the Britain. He didn't trust Britain, because of, as we all know, the Northern Caliphate is the darling, the British darling, So, and he is also doing all these things in order to protect himself so that he can sit down very well and maybe act. So, what do you think in that position?
Well, Tinubu, for me, remember Tinubu we are talking about is Yoruba centric. Mazi, You know, we easily forget in this part of the world. It's a sad incident because we easily forget. Tinubu has never believed in Nigeria. His
Of
previous
course.
articles have said that. When he was the governor of Lagos State, he maintained his position as AP member, Action Party. He was not interested to join any national party until when Buhari wanted to vie for position. Obama had to now bring two of them together, where he now marched together with CPC. Remember, Mazi, you should know better than I. So, Tinubu history has never been anything that has to do with a national front. From Abinisu, Tinubu has never been a type that believes in national projects. So, if the same Tinubu, who even told you in his own ethnic language, not even on the national language, English, where we can say is the lingua franca, he told you in his own national language, his beloved Yoruba language, Emilokan. And he believes that his Emilokan is for 8 years. All of a sudden, you start threatening him after 2 years that he is not going to come again. And the same person you're threatening is already doing everything possible to make sure his own people get a lot. A lot of institutions are already moving to Southwest. He's doing everything to make sure. In fact, as a matter of fact, he has started putting pressure on state police, regional policing. He's gradually encouraging, geopolitical zone policing. Now you are not threatening the man. All of a sudden, you went as far as calling P2B, calling Atiku, calling Aerofy, calling all these gladiators, telling them to form one political party to make sure that Tinubu is a one-term president. Not minding the other nonsenses you're doing. Do you know what? Remember, as what we're making here is an inference. Predictions. It might not really be accurate. Don't these guys think that these guys they are threatening can also say, okay, hence you want to deny me 8 years, I will deny you the Nigerian project. It could be that. Because he's somebody who is not ready to stake anything for the. If he's enjoying Nigeria today, he's enjoying Nigeria because Nigeria is just a retirement benefit. Considering his age, at least he needs to control the resources as a retirement benefit. So these guys do not even understand that the person you are threatening, already he's not even interested to do anything with UK because he understands that UK believes in Nigeria. He's a die-hard believer in Nigerian unity. He's already moving to a country that even helped assisted the Biafran people to fight for, self-determination in 1960s, which is France. France does not believe in Nigerian project. You should understand that. It
Of
doesn't
course,
matter.
I do. Of course.
Yes, France does not believe in Nigerian project. It was France that helped the Biafran people to mobilize diplomatic influence among the Francophonian countries. Till today, France has never compelled any of these Francophonian countries that recognize Biafra to resign it, including Tanzania, Gabon, none of them. France has never compelled them to resign that or withdraw that
Even Cote d'Ivoire.
recognition till today. And this is the person Tinubu have found as the dear lover. And you think if you push Tinubu or threatening him as a one-time president, you might not break the calabash on Market Square where time will tell, Mazi.
As a time will tell, because there are many things. That is why our people we should be ingrained in, politics, both inside and outside the politics. It is very, very important. Now, Mazi, let us move we are moving towards the conclusion anyway, but let us talk about this. When you talk about our Biafra restoration, and people are watching from all over the globe what is happening on social media, how do we continue explaining to the world that we Biafrans, Igbo Biafrans, we are marginalized? You know, when I say Igbo, it means all Biafrans. That we are marginalized, limited, and persecuted in Nigeria. But owing to the record that, and you know, our people, we used to boast with it, even on social media, that Igbos are the richest tribe in Nigeria, and that is not far from the truth. Also, owing to the exhibition of exorbitance on social media by our people, Mazi, how do you see this? When people, when our people we exhibit their wealth in a way that you don't see in any other part of Nigeria, if not even Africa, and we are still clamoring that we are being marginalized, we are being persecuted. How do you reconcile this? How do you convince ordinary foreigner? How do you convince ordinary foreigner that is watching all these things? Of which, for example, an Hausa person or a Fulani person, we tell the person, watch this video. These are these Igbos, so look at them. Look at them. Do they resemble people that are being marginalized? Instead, they are the ones marginalizing us. You know how politics work. Things that are being done on the ground, our people don't know this. Now, how do you reconcile this? How can, common sense or commonsensically, how can we reconcile these two situations? Mazi, please go on.
Okay, Mazi, thank you for that question. Well, I first of all want to build a strong foundation here for us to understand that marginalization does not necessarily mean when people are not, spraying money, or when people don't have any money to throw around in parties. That is not really it. There are levels of marginalization. There are different types of marginalization.
Mazi, sorry, but before you go, but this one is the one, foreigners are not living with us there. These are the ones they are seeing. Go on,
I will
go.
definitely come to. I
Okay,
will definitely
go
come
on.
to. I will give you instance of my experience last year. So, but let me build that foundation. Marginalization have a different types and different degrees. One of those types is exclusion, and that is one of those ones. If the Igbo nation have been clamoring that we have been excluded, political exclusion. Where we are being denied what other certain political position others have, been. We are being denied because of ethnic profiling. I think that has been one of the strongest type of marginalization we have clamored for as a people. But like you rightly said, I met somebody who came. He worked in Pentagon, and he happens to be an Igbo man from Nekede, to be precise. So he told me during Obama's time, there were a lot of petitions by the Igbos in US calling the attention of President Obama on the marginalization of the Igbo people in Nigeria, and the lobbying was so strong that Obama has to constitute committee to come and say things for themselves, because the committee was set up by U.S. Department of State, you know, not necessarily waiting to hear from the U.S. Embassy here, because the president commissioned that committee to report directly back to him. So they set up certain fellows, and that man who happens to work in Pentagon, in a very sensitive position in Pentagon, happens to be one of the committee members that was going to, lead the team. And they came to Igbo land. They landed in Lagos, and it made them, find themselves to Enugu and decide to tour almost all the 5 states of Igbo land. And you know what? The man told me, he said, when they got to Enugu, they were taking video records, as part of their fact-finding evidences to present. When they got to Onitsha, they were shocked. When they, from Onitsha, they made route to Enugu, then connect somehow to, those Azis, Ihiala, Akokwa, then find themselves in Imo, pass through the Olo Azis, get themselves to Owerri, then they lodge in Owerri, then the next day they moved to Aba. From Aba, Fiam went to Umuahia, and they concluded their trip in Nonshore, and they decided to visit some northern states. Do you know what the statement some of the delegates came? They said that we are marginalizing the people of North.
Do you see it?
Do you understand me?
Of course.
That he thought that the man, being an Igbo man, did everything to influence them to understand that our people are suffering. They said no. Look at magnificent buildings here and there. Look at Onitsha, they pass through Awada, and those people say no, that we should be running an assistance program to the North when they went to the North. And it became a very difficult thing to influence the report based on what is real. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So our individual effort to divine blessings made it difficult for people to say, if you come to Igbo land and travel to some northern state, you will think we have never experienced civil war in our life. As a matter of fact, it's so difficult. When you see these boys displaying money here and there, you cannot believe they are descendants of those that we are giving 20 pounds. It's very, you see, there are things that debunks, there are certain things we have seen in our lives as a race that debunk academic submissions. To be so difficult for you to say this is in tandem with every analytical and logical senses. Now, the question we should ask ourselves sincerely, should we blame ourselves? Are we going to be disguised not to develop ourselves because until our people start, it's so funny, but we must continue. Until our people start channeling our argument rightly, we will not understand things. Until we start letting the world understand that whatever is being seen is as a result of our economic connection to global economy. There are certain things our people have not explained well. The Igbo region is the only region in Africa whose economy is connected to global economy. So Igbo economy experiences shock when there is global shock wave in global economy. I don't need your side. Mazi, you should understand better because I respect your level of intelligence. So when you have a people whose economic connection transcend beyond their local economy, it becomes so difficult for that economy to be regulated or managed based on local dynamics. That is just what it is. Let me give you an instance. Do you know that whenever there is a crisis in China, it affects Igbo economy than when that crisis is happening in Kanu.
Of course.
Do you know that when there is an issue in America, it affects Igbo's economy than when that issue is even happening? Mazi, am I still coming out?
You are clear.
Good. Okay. Do you know that when an issue is happening in America, if American economy is facing duress or depression or pressure, it affects Igbo economy than when something disturbing is happening even in Ogun State. The truth is, Igbo economy has evolved like what Indian economy is. If you look at the economy of India, India has successfully achieved over 40% GDP on what we call home remittance. In fact, the Indian government encourages our citizens to learn a particular skill and travel outside and remit whatever you're getting, remit it home. It's part of a reasonable part, is contributing a reasonable part in India's GDP. And that is exactly how the Igbo economy is structured. Over 40% of Igbo economy centers on home remittance. So when you have such economy, it will be difficult for you to tell somebody who does not really have integral understanding of the marginalization. It will be difficult for you to tell them that these people are marginalized, because they will say, no, if you're marginalized, why are you recording all these resounding structures here and there? For example, I can tell you that property in Igbo land is costlier than in Abuja. Can you believe that? In some places in Abuja.
Of course.
In as small as Owerri, near Owerri, Concord Aziz, you have a property of 50, 60 million. But I can tell you, a friend of mine sold his house in a place government even gave them in Abuja. He sold both the house and the land, 15 million. And I told him that if he's in Owerri, for example, or any other Igbo land, he cannot sell that property less than 50 or 60 million. So that is the variation. That is a very difficult thing for one to explain to a layman. It's a very, very tactical thing to explain. Except you bend down to let people understand that it is because why you see some of this you're seeing in Igbo land happen is that Igbo man believes that he is competing with the world, not the local rivalries. And that is, that is the craziest thing. That me and you were in the same environment, we're in the same continent, we're in the same sub-region, and you are ignoring me competing with the man on the global stage. It's a very difficult thing to explain, or should I say understand. An average Igbo man is thinking, if he's a footballer, he's thinking of how to go and play in Europe. Not even to go to Lagos and join a Lagos club. So that's our expansionist mindset, global competitive mindset, makes it difficult for people that are not within Nigeria to even say we are marginalized. Mazi, I was shocked. I just have to say it here. Mazi, if I tell you that most, you see, in the Sahel region, that most of these countries, West African countries, if I tell you that their microeconomic structures are being controlled by Igbos, you cannot believe me. Igbo bourgeoisies are controlling the entrepreneurship sector in these countries. And tell me how you will tell somebody from Sierra Leone, for example, or Burkina Faso, or even Niger or Mali. If you go to Mali, for instance, you see Igbo investors in their mining sector, you will shock. Tell me how you will tell a Malian that this person who owns this mining site, employing locals, is even happening in Liberia. Go to Liberia and see that this person is marginalized in Nigeria. that in fact, you cannot comprehend it.
Mazi,
Except you start questioning
what I
that.
think, do you think or do you not think that there is a lapse in the political sector of the agitation or of our politicians, or can I call it political sector? Because as you talk about exclusion, that is number one thing, exclusion. Because if you want to be a billionaire on your own, hustle on your own, somebody with power
It's controlling.
is controlling
Yes,
you. At a strike of pen, or you become nonsense. That is it. So,
it reflects.
is it not
And
that
that's why,
that our
that's
people are not
why
making more effort towards that political cry or lending the voice politically, lending their voices?
that
Go
is
on.
exactly what I'm saying. That's why your platform, your moment is a period people should be listening to. When we say marginalized, we should narrow the angle. You see, these guys have come to the realization that they cannot stop us economically. Remember, and they believe that hence we have created the world for ourselves. Hence we have endeavored to survive. That we cannot control the commerce and control politics. They have resolved it within themselves. So it takes us to come up and say, okay, these people say they don't want us to be wherever they are. They believe we are not entitled to wherever they find themselves politically. Then it is a justifiable ground to exit. That's why I said political exclusion. Because when you argue on economic exclusion, it is a very difficult thing to argue upon. Because a simple question is that is there IDP camp in your region? You say no. Why? Because our people have disdain for anybody to feed them. Not because such a thing cannot happen. So the political exclusion is a very strong ground in explaining the marginalization. Because any other angle you want to narrate it tend not to be a viable argument. Because comparatively speaking, you are better than them on that angle. And that's why, let me tell you something. Since during the period P2B came, you find that they became so unsettled. Because they believe that this guy is going to now raise a lot of, instigate a lot of questions of why are you people, why don't you people want them on the political space? Because they know when we say we are marginalized economically, they tell you, but your GDP is better than other. Your per capita income is better than other. Without them sincerely telling their people that our GDP and per capita income is better than other because of our interlinking with global economy, not domestic economy. So that is what it is, man.
Okay, thank you, Mazi. I think we are now going to, before I open the lines, I want you to also put your mouth in a nutshell on this tanker fire outbreaks that is happening. It has become so common. Lives are being lost. People are being roasted alive everywhere. Chibuanozo. How do you think that our people can also maybe take precautions, even in fire? I mean, in market fire outbreaks, is there any solution? Because when I'm talking of solution, I'm not talking about solutions from the government, because there is nothing. There is no solution from there. They also want us to roast alive. And even personally, I'm trying to now start believing that some of all these fires are terrorists, are deliberate. Let me put it like that: deliberate, orchestrated, deliberately against us. So please conclude with that, so that we open the lines. There, Mazi.
Well, I think our people, we are always quick at forming a cooperative when it comes to eto akawo. You know, to ara matorage. Hebrew next week, Hebrew next 2 weeks. When it comes to cooperative formation, we love that. But we fail to understand that investment without safety guarantee is nonsense. It doesn't matter how big your shop is. So until our people understand the importance of investing towards safety, some of these fire outbreak we are seeing, some of them are negligent, some of them are avoidable. But because we are careless, you can imagine a line of a shop that has over 60 million goods, but they cannot even secure 500,000 fire extinguisher, or even contribute money or seek loan and have a mini firefighting truck. These are things our people do not consider. There are certain lines, when you go there, you see goods that are worth over 2 billion naira. But you'll be wondering, why can't these people raise as common as 10 million? You have a goods of 2 billion, but you can't raise 10 million at least to have a firefighting truck. You can reach understanding with Innocent and ask him, on a spirit of plea, let us make deposit of this. We'll be paying, as a mortgage. But people do not think to that point. Now, when it happens, you start seeing them crying on social media, and you wonder, is our brain pause? Also, some of these our big investment areas, we don't even, when we get people to secure those places, we don't even pay. When they said, I could remember there was this place I was staying one certain time. When you tell people to pay 1,000 naira a month for security, for vigilante, they find it difficult. But when incident happen, they lose millions of naira.
So, and that
our
one, that 1,000 naira, they are ready to spend 10 times, for anything every one day. They are ready
I'm telling
without even
So
knowing that they have spent it.
I think there should be a campaign, a sensitization. Most of these are businessmen and women. Garapukwabal. They don't even understand the importance of this. Highest thing they can tell you that evangelist Morgan Okeke has prophesied that this year there will be no sorrow. That is that is you subscribing to illusion. You understand me? So or some of them will tell you, Biafra, no where you get. These are nonsense. You must understand that there are certain things you must put in place, because insurance company is not working in Nigeria. So why not you people now form a mini insurance center for yourself? Put your resources together. Get some of these things that can prevent a wide scale destruction. They will not do it. When it happened, you start seeing them talking rubbish. So I think they need to be informed. Awareness needs to be championed on that. You understand me? If you watch what the new area market that is coming up in Aba, you see it has those water units.
Yes, it has a automatic fire extinguisher,
Yes,
water sprayer, automatic. Yes.
yeah, these are some of the structures we should encourage our people to go in. Where you can't have such structures, a line where you people are doing business of over 1 billion naira. People bring out 10, 20 million, buy a fire truck, standby, to be there, standby. You are not losing anything. After 1 year, no fire came out, or 2 years, no fire. You see them, they slide. ekpere anyị na-ekpekwa dị egwu. Ifere ya since 2 years, onwezi uru ihe abara. Adam akwụzi. We have to start thinking so that we be on a safe side, Maz. Thank you.
Mazi, and the person talking this, he is paying insurance for his car. Maybe for 10 years he never have any single accident, but he's still paying. You know,
and he's paying.
And he's paying. Mazi, our people, we need our, you know, conscientization. How do you call it? You know, awareness, continuous awareness, so that our people should understand how the world works this time around. How the world works, not what you think. So, Mazi, thank you very much. I think we shall go into a few minutes break so that when we come back, I will open the lines. The lines I will open. It's not going to take time. I'll take few calls before we call it a quit. Mazi, please do not go away. We'll be right back.
There are so many issues on this matter. The first foundation to lay is that Nigeria is not a united country, despite all the pretenses. We are not South since 1914. It has not changed. The North, at the flip of a switch, they are able to shout Northern interest. The Southerners are laid back, hoping that, oh, we are civilized. We don't want to talk about tribalism. Tribalism is at play. We are pretentious about this matter. Look, the North has taken us for a ride for too long. They foisted federal character on Nigeria over 40 years. They foisted quota system over Nigeria over 40 years. Have they benefited from it? Only the tiny clique in the North is holding the whole country to ransom. It's enough time for Nigeria to wake up. We are not together, North plus South. Now they are talking the elite, the few elite in the North. Like saying feed the bottle is going to be removed from their mouth. That's what they are doing. They are shouting. They are forming a group now. Lead of Northern Democrats. The governor of Bauchi was talking. They won't be able to pay salaries again. They won't be able to do that. Look, the North has damaged Nigeria fundamentally with this attitude. Who are the Nigerians who are now japping now? They are Southerners. The South invested in education massively in the 50s and the 60s. The products now are being driven out of Nigeria. Can you find the Fulani man in London or in New York practicing medicine, practicing engineering? It's Yoruba, the both Southerners that are marginalized. It's time to call the bluff of the North. Not because we even support what Chinedu is doing, but we have to converse about Nigeria. Nigeria is not, we are pretentious. Let's go to the brass tacks. That's why we are calling for regionalization. The North is separate from the South. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Unless we are deceiving ourselves.
All right, Dr. Fakunda. It looks to me like a lot of people might consider your submissions a bit concerning. You know, the way that you are addressing issues that have to do with the northern part of the country. When you say that we are different, does it appear to you that it might sound like you are trying to breed division? Does it appear to you?
Welcome back. This is Radio Biafra House of Service coming to you through Radio Biafra London, and we are on our program, The Viewpoint. And today we are still on the analysis concerning international geopolitics, because we need to have knowledge of what is happening, because we are in a global village. What happens in East affects what happens in West. That is it. And we should also learn from what is happening. We should be politically conscious. So today is the 29th day of January 2025. I'm here with Mazi Austin, that is giving us his own analysis of some of all these international geopolitical affairs. Our lines are now opened, and our WhatsApp and Signal line remains +61 405 142 547. I repeat, +61 405 142 and 547. You can call us and give us your view, or if you have any question also that you can bring up on the issues treated, please, you are free to call. Remember that Radio Biafra is an avenue for disseminating the reality for both physical and mental emancipation. Therefore, we must continue. Therefore, as I said, our lines are opened. Our WhatsApp and Signal line is the same. You can call us on WhatsApp or Signal, which on the same line, +61 405 142 547. I have a first caller, Mazi. Caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me, please? Go on. Mazi, can you hear me? Let me see.
Documentary you played before you open up your line. The person said something. He said that we since we have realized. Are you telling me, sir? What is all this now? Oh,
go on now.
shit.
Your voice started coming out now.
Yeah.
Go on, go on.
Okay, sir. Okay. So the question I want to ask, let me be brief, is this. While we were discussing about the American politics, how the restriction of buying oil from Nigeria and the repatriation of the illegal immigrants and all that will bring now we think it's an advantage for us to, destroy Nigeria. Those who call themselves Nigeria will come up with that point, or maybe review of such thing happening in no distant time to quit from answering Nigeria. That is not the rightful point, because so I want to ask, is there no other way internally, politically, that we can do this thing right? Because when they do that, you see Nigerians, there is a tape actually, if I had remembered that you are coming up today, I would have sent you on a word tape that I recorded today. You see what people are saying about Nigeria. Then, is there no way we on our own should remind many of these our people to let us discuss deeply in religion, because religion, mostly Christianity, has so held us down that even if Trump declared Biafra, Nigerian Christians will say no, they want one Nigeria. I'm telling you before God in heaven. So I'm only asking, is there any other local politics that we can play internally to get this thing right? Because when they are doing their own, we appreciate it, but it will not raise any doors from this idiot I'm seeing here called Nigerian. Thank you so much. I remain down at Madrid. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. The only thing is that,
Did you get my question? Sorry.
Yes, I get it, but I didn't get it all because of the thing you used to see. But what I'm telling you, please, if I know you are provoked, mind your use of words.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Please.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
Okay.
Forgive me.
Okay. You can cut. What I want to say there before I bring Mazi Austin is this. Yes, our people, some of our people, some of us could be frustrated when you meet one person or the other, you know, because of personal, what you hear personal. And, you know, I asked Mazi Chikasin here today, how does he see the consciousness or political consciousness of our people to his own analysis? And he also described it that is encouraging. So there is no other way to do it than the hard way. And that is what we are doing. Freedom fighting has no formula. You embrace, that is the hard way. Trying to move or control or you know, how do you, what is the right word? Trying to convince millions of people towards one direction is not an easy job. It's not an easy job. It's because people have been very, very ignorant. We come from a society whereby we are taught what we are taught, or the way we grew up. We were taught that government has no space in our lives, and it has been affecting us. You know, so organization of our people is the most difficult task. When I talk about organization, uh, even ideological organization, you know, is part of it. Just like what Mazi Chika said. For example, the catastrophic fire incidents that have been going on even in our markets. People are shouting when they see things happen. But to be proactive, you see people, they donate, I mean, they contribute money, maybe 1,000 naira a month. Once they stay 1 year, 2 years, no fire, I say, nah, I know they pay again. Now waiting that money now. You know, you see, it is the type of lame understanding, type of you know, limited understanding of how things work because of the way we are being brought up. Nigeria did not also help the situation. Since 1970, we are a people that we are sentenced into self-survival mode, no leadership. So we became directionless globally, I mean collectively. Go to your way, make your money, survive as you can. That is what Nigeria sentenced us since 1970 till today. We became, you know, they programmed us, they allowed us to ruined. Let me put it like that, to rotten. You know, yes, the only thing we know how to survive as individuals, make money, do one thing, I mean, privately and get money. But when it comes to collectivity, we become nothing because that is what they want. That is the way they want us to be. So there is no formula to bring us back other than what we are doing. Mazi Chik, I don't know whether you have anything to add inside. Please, you go on.
Yes, yes, I want to thank him for his question in the first place, but let me make a quick reference. You know, people, most times we always hear sanction, sanction. What is the purpose of sanction? Why are countries sanctioning others? Countries sanction you in order to tighten difficulty in that society so that the people can revolt against the government of that country. But do you understand me?
Of course.
If America is sanctioning Russia, she's sanctioning Russia so that things will be so difficult in Russia and the people will now revolt against the Russian government.
It's
So
the Russian people, yes, that are suffering,
yeah,
that are suffering,
revolt.
yes.
And why they are revolting, you can hijack the process. The foreign power can now hijack it and destabilize the country totally. This is something our people should understand. What you're seeing happening, for example, deportation of people will come back to Nigeria, they will not be happy. And the Russian Trump policy will tighten and make things difficult. When things are difficult on the people, naturally people will revolt. People forget their religion when they are almost at the point of dying as a result of hunger. They will now understand that there is better religion that can keep you into survivalhood. It's called humanity. They start thinking of humanity, no longer Muhammad, Jesus, or whatever. So these are some of the politics of the West we have not learned as a people. If the West want to destabilize a place, they first of all make things difficult for the people. Then the people will revolt against the government. It's a natural formula. But you know our people, you know, because we blacks, we are really moral beings. Permit me to say that. You know, we always sound shy. Why now? Oh, it will affect people. But there's nothing you can do about it. If you want to build, you must crack walls. Is the sequence. So that is what I have to say, Mazi.
Yeah, whoa. I have another caller on WhatsApp. Caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Please go on.
Yes, Mazi, I can hear you.
There, Mazi.
Yes, Mazi, I'm not from here. Mazi, I want to say this. I want to ask you a question, but let me put it this way. You know, before now, our people have actually ignored politics because of how unfavorable it has become to our people. And this has contributed into what we are seeing today. And we kind of peeled into economic part. And in that economy, we are doing well. But today we can see it's not enough for us. Mazi, my question is this. Is there any way we can compare the people who are politicians in our own side, who are joining these people to press us down? Is there any way we can compare them to do our own wish? That's my question. Thank you.
There, Mazi, before you come in, Mazi Austin, let me also say this to the best of my knowledge. When you come to dealing with politicians in our land, you know, the only thing that politicians fear is numbers, population. Population. That's it. Do you see? Let me give you an example. What happened in Imo State? The imposition of Hope Uzodinma. Every other people kept quiet. It's only Imo something. And even the Imo people, when they rose up to protest, before you know, the House of Assembly members that should be in support of them have jumped fence and joined the ruling party and discouraged the people. Had it been that time, the people in Imo State continued, the population pour out from everywhere from the 3 senatorial zones, Olo, Okigwe, and everywhere. And they say, no, we know, even if the House of Assembly members jump fence and start campaign, say no, no, they say no, we not go. Everybody continue rushing to Owerri, trekking to Owerri. And all of a sudden, our fellow Igbos from Anambra, from Ebony, they continue say no, this is a miscarriage of justice. This is injustice, outright injustice. Everybody there, what is happening? Oh, it's happening. What is happening in Owerri? Before God and man, they will revoke it. When they see that there is no way, they say no, they will revoke it and give the people what they want. This is the only secret I see for me personally. I see that is the only way to do what? To sanction the imposition of leaders in our land, on us. But when you do this, I mean, this outright injustice takes place, and some people will be met and give him money. Before you know, Hanez and Igbo chieftain will make statement that look, let Iwanyawo. I will never forget that his statement. He told the Ihedioha had to go and sit down. Otherwise, he'll become a political leper. Iwanyawo is no more there, he's no more alive. But people are suffering the legacy they put him. He also helped in putting in place. That is the reason why everybody should gather all the time. Once you see injustice, injustice to one is injustice to all. That is the only thing I see, that we let these people understand that, oh, now people are no more ignorant. Oh. These people are wise now. And the population, because it's a democracy. It doesn't matter the excuse you give. It is a democracy. People have the right. Once they see, you know, hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people on the road, my goodness me, they cannot kill everybody. No, they will be forced. Not people to go and start looting. People have shop mother, break a people's shop, start stealing a gala. That is nonsense. If our people should understand the way to fight, political fight is about, look at what is happening in many countries in Europe. They will gather every day. They will be there making noise and say, we no go agree, this is what we want. It's not about violence. They are not violent, but when only their sheer number we the politician will be mad. They must restore and say, oh boy, these people, they are no longer the people we knew. You bring money to some people, please go and talk to them. They say, no, I beg, we know they go. That is the only way I think it will change. Mazi, can you hear? Mazi, Austin, you want to ask something? Please, you go.
No, Mazi, you have said it all. You have said it all.
There were. Caller on WhatsApp, Mazi Paul, I think. Can you hear me? Please go on. People can also call on signal. Mazi. The signal is on, please. People can call on signal.
Good evening, Mazi.
There were Mazi.
Yes, Mazi. I'm calling. My name is Paul. This evening, you people are doing a marvelous well. To compare to what you people are saying, you can see that the Nigerian government, and especially the military, police, all those people are frustrated, because why I say they are frustrated is, in a civilized country, police and the military doesn't know what is called politics, because they are there for the people, protect the masses. But you can see in Nigeria, the military and the police are combined and against the masses. So that is why all those evil those politicians are committing, they go away with it. In a civilized country, it doesn't happen like that. You can see that if a minister or any
Mazi, are you there? Are you still there? I don't know. You just all of a sudden abruptly you went off. Caller on WhatsApp, please go on. Caller on WhatsApp, please go on or switch off your listening device.
Good evening, Mazi Jonathan. My name is Onyebuchi. I'm calling from Biafra land. So looking at the consciousness, if whether people are politically conscious, I began to think in the dimension of institutions. First of all, when you look at our society as regards the Igbo, you discover that the only institution that control a lot of population is religion. And when you look at the religious settings and their modus operandi, you discover that most of what information they feed our people is not something that will make them conscious as human beings and people who should look into their society. The information is channeling them to unseen entity. You understand? So they are more of paying attention to where they are heading to. They are giving them information on the existence of another entity. So because of such shift of paradigm from the consciousness of the environment, if you're talking about how do we build this place for betterment, they will not pay attention, because they will say this no one this kind of thing. So it's also this kind of, you talked about the issue of not being conscious of installing some fire extinguishers and all the rest of them. They will not even pay attention that these things should help them, because what often they struggle, but at the end they tell them one and that one. So the point I'm trying to raise here is that the bedrock of the lack of this political consciousness is the lack of the institutions we have in our land, and more of institutions that feed our population with sentiment. And it is an institution that divides attention from reality. It is an institution that divides attention from focusing on humanism. That is, that these things we are fighting and praying for can only be solved by human. So, and you discover that it is human beings that are playing politics. But when we are no longer conscious of ourselves, understand, we then become so dormant in political setting. And if you see some of these politicians, some of them are so manipulative. At the end, you see them trying to play that religious sentiment. It is by, like hope, like my one thing, this thing that God gave him. They knew quite all right it became the place to take over that power, but they see he says that in the church, they will still believe that he assumes such a feat by the power of God and the rest of them. So these are the institutions that deprive ourselves the consciousness of following political realities in the world. So for me, this, how do we unravel this kind of, because IPOB now is an institution, and I'm very, very proud and glad that we have such organization in our time that is bringing such consciousness in the mind of our people. Apart from that, there is no way we get this kind of organization that consciously speaks to our people about some kind of political issues. So my concern is, how do we expand? Because it's only IPOB that has the truth, the consciousness, the boldness, the courage, the wisdom even to speak to our people in this dimension. So when you look at all these things, looking at how do we expand this kind of institution that brings consciousness to our people? Understand? But
Thank
when
you.
all these are things, it's not the right people that have the boldness, and the campaign is going to rally around IPOB and begin to listen and then begin to get informed. So that's just my contribution.
There were Mazi. I put the question to Mazi Chick Austin. You know, many callers have pointed towards the same direction. If you are running from that direction, people continue pointing it, and you see that it is so bad. Now, Mazi Chika, considering like what our brother said now, that IPOB is the only voice that is sounding, giving our people or giving out the reality that is facing us. Whereas our people are congregated in churches and receiving different messages that is also harmful or against political consciousness. Maz, the question there, how do we go about this? If somebody have asked this thing in one of my programs. So, but I want to put it out now to you, Mazi. How do you think that, is it somebody have suggested that that IPOB should write or communicate the religious leaders to at least tell them to know how they talk to our people? That, you know, and we have to do something or say something that is feasible. So, but I'm putting it out. Mazi Chick Austin, do you have any clue or anything you want to say about this?
Well, I think IPOB has not also shied away from the responsibility of getting religious messages, modeled towards giving our people sense instead of foolishness. Like I did say in one of my programs some time ago, there is no country on this planet Earth that does not, get consciousness on what their people are being fed on religious circle. That's why in China controls the religious system in her place. Even in Russia, despite that Russia is a Christian state, they have a Russian church, which is the link from, which is the link from that of, Western system. So, IPOB once time also created a religious department, and they have what they call SCOP, to the best of my knowledge, some time ago, in order to also regulate these things. But we should also approach certain issues from a realistic point of view. We are dealing with people who are deeply corrupt in the name of the Lord, who are, some of them, not all of them, some of them are very dirty in the name of the Lord. They deal with the politician, and they have also, metamorphosed what's supposed to be a godly sector into a secular sector because they are being under control of the politicians. So in such a thing, it's not a war you just fight with all sense of feelings that you think you can just turn things around overnight. I don't believe that. And I also believe that certain messages we dish out, certain campaigns IPOB has carried towards directing our people rightly is also yielding fruit, because what is going on in Biafran land today, you can see there is a very drastic drop of people allowing themselves to be brainwashed in Biafran land today. In fact, people, in order not to be called a atheist, are switching from the Roman system to the indigenous system. So, to me, is something we need to consistently do, but we must also do it with all sense of carefulness, as it might be misinterpreted, and just the way they once blackmail Onion do. Remember when they said Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was he won Biafra that is going to kill Christians and all this, because they leverage and feed fat on lies and deceptions. So all I think we should do, like you pointed, we can communicate. We can send a correspondent, diplomatic correspondence between the movement and some of these religious sector, and say, see, it's better you consider this, because like the caller said, they control a very reasonable number of population.
Mazi, they not very
If
reasonable.
we
They
don't,
control more percentage of our population. I'm telling you.
so if we don't see it as a point of duty and holistically make the best analysis out of it before engaging into field work, the whole thing might end up backfiring. But we must consider this too. When you're fighting, you fight technically so that you don't create a multiple war fronts for yourself, which is not really a healthy one for a good fighter. A good fighter should limit war front instead of creating multifaceted war front. Very, very important we understand that. That is my contribution, Maz.
There were. We must continue, because the issue is about the message people hear. That is the thing. That is the frustrating issue. When even some denominations will discourage their members from listening, maybe something like even Radio Biafra and other people and other social media, this thing, teachings, because they believe that they are threatened. So they manipulate people not to listen. And continue manipulating them, that giving them the message that things will be solved spiritually, instead of telling them, look, let us face reality. It is not about you as an individual. It's not about me as an individual. It's about us, our future generations, our race. That is what matters, not a personal experience. This has, decimated us into more pieces. That is the thing. But we must continue. Let me take this caller on signal. You have been there. Thank you for holding on, Mazi. Caller on signal. Can you hear me? Go on. Udo derege Mazi.
And our brother Mazi got on board, and we are very much. Mazi, a lot has been said. Analysis has been laid down concerning geopolitics and global politics as it concerns the world. You know, for me as a person, I like narrowing it down to how it affects me, my people. You know, like somebody rightly said, we as a people have been left out in this geopolitics, not to talk about the global aspect of it. You know, and in Mazika's analysis, he made us understand that our economy as Igbos, as Biafrans, are not reliant on the geographical space we occupy, where we are found today called zoo. You know. Now, my question is, how is it that with this, we came out from a war in 67 to 70, and we're able to build our economy as a people, even though it is individual based. Everybody we are subjected to individual based, which is not actually economy, because as it stands today, the indictment is that with all the connections we have as a people who have direct connections from international communities as it pertains economical transaction. Now we can't be able to use that our opportunity or that privilege we had to convince those people to help pressure, because everything about life is politics. To pressure the government of the day, whichever government has been in power, to enable our land to be developed, open, seaport. Our people are not even thinking towards using their strength, because every region in this country have their strength. The North can say their religion and their population and whatever money they do there. The Yorubas can say their media. Now we here we can say we their parents we have our what economy. We have the common soil. You know, we can use this as to our own advantage as a people. But what baffles me as individual and as a Biafran is that with all these connections we have, we see that we are not even representing our race as it should be in the politics of Nigeria. Those of us that find ourselves in the politics of Nigeria who feel that Nigeria is the way forward for them, that when you speak at Biafra, you're speaking against their interests. You're trying to create problem of something they can fight through Nigerian politics. But they are not using some of their offices to make sure they push this government to attract investment, projects that can bring forth investment that will help the lives of the masses. Because it's not about coming to build beautiful houses, hotels. Those are not economy. Our land is no longer as it used to be when we know. All these things is connected to when people say religion and our education system. Because I used to know, growing up as a little kid, we used to see all these technical schools around. People educate their families through skills. You learn and you learn and you learn through the process, not just the theoretical aspect of it, but the practical. But immediately they find out that if we continue with this pattern of education, we can rise up to know more than they feel we should know. They now introduce what they call grammar school. This is when our people become people who speak grammar. You go there, you see, like those days we were in Ebema, they used to have that Ebema grammar school and all of that. This is where you see the Polish English speak and stuff without merit. This is why our land today we can speak English and alive it, but bringing those things to help develop our land, we find it difficult.
Yeah,
So to me, I feel our people have not really reached to the point that we can begin to compare in global politics. But we know that IPOB, being the only person that is championing this global politics in our life. And you also see this political harlots, if I can use that word, around us. kicking against, rising up to look as if they want to bring something that is more tangible than what IPB is bringing to the table. And this people has been there for decades without actualizing some of these things. But because they are driven by this jealous envy that has become a problem, they don't want to accept that, okay, this is the light, let's follow this light and see where it leads us to. But rather, they want to cut short, make sure that they follow the line. But we know that as our movement stands, we shall continue, and the destination is Biafra. So, Mazi, here I will end my own submission. Thank you, and I appreciate the program.
Thank you very much. Mazi Austin, you want to say anything?
No, Mazi, no.
Okay. Caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Please go on. Caller on WhatsApp, please go on. Caller on WhatsApp, once again, please go on. You muted yourself, unmute yourself and go on, please. There we go. Yes, go on, go on.
Yeah, my name is Undubisi. I'm calling from Southwest in the zoo.
There we go.
So, according to that, our brother we first called before this last call, about that religion of a thing.
Let me ask, how are you listening? Are you listening to you through the application, through our app, IPOB Community Radio over there, or?
I downloaded, I have the IPOB Community Radio, but I like using the simple radio app.
Okay,
that's
very
the
good.
one
Okay,
like.
very good. Go on, go on, go on. Thank you. Go on.
So, about this religion of a thing, is a case, is an emergency. So, if there's anything that should be done, it should be done because religion, especially this Christianity, is part of what is holding our people down. So, it's part of the thing that is holding. Most of my brothers, as I travel to village this December, most of them that joined Christianity does not have anything to do with most of their brother anymore because they see them as they are not Christians. I can't live with you. I can't share the same love we used to share before because you are not in Christian faith like me. So and the thing is really disturbing. So if there is anything IPOB can do, so to educate all those priests on how to lead our people, it will go a long way to help us.
Well, there we go. Continue. If you want to say, continue. Just. Oh. Mazi, indicate you anything if you want to say something. Mazi Austin, as I'm going to caller on signal, please. Can you hear me? Caller on signal.
Yes, Mazi, Jonathan. Good evening.
There we go.
Okay.
Your call. You have to, re-regulate it. It's showing private, unknown. So, but go on.
Sorry, I'm just using signal for the first time.
Okay. Go on.
Mazi, I'm a chancellor. Mazi, I want to thank you so much and thank Mr. Chika Austin for his wonderful education. I never knew that University of Biafra has a lot of researchers and educators. Thank you so much for that. I will not take time. I will just go straight. I have 3 points. The first point is about religion. Mazi, ndị Igbo na-asị na agwọ mara ebe o siri gaa elu ya si ebe ahụ rịdata n'ala. The Europeans came to Biafra land, studied our system, used our system to conquer us and impose religion on us.
The only way we can come out of it, Bo, we use the same system to disarm them. Now, a lot of people have said this like IPOB is an institution. Thank God for that. The IPOB is supposed to have a kind of dialogue or meeting or agreement with the religious leaders and educate them to be on our side. They are the people that we convince their followers because they have more than 90% followers in Biafra land. So that is what number one. Number two, Mazi Chika Austin. There was a question Mazi Jonathan asked you, but it seems you did not pay very good attention to that. The consistent fire outbreak in Biafra land is not just because of, it's not about market. It's not mere accident. For me, it looks like a terrorist attack. So something like that happened in Opiweka. A tanker exploded and killed millions of people, thousands of people. It happened in Iguacha before the end of last year. It killed human beings, vehicles, property, and everything. It happened in Ugwonyama in 9th Mile a few days back. Now, if you put that on one side, connect all the fire incidents in different markets, you will realize that there are calculated attempts to be eliminating our people in numbers with fire. So, Mazi Austin, I want the leadership to pay attention to that direction because this is no more a coincidence. It is no more an accident. I won't dwell much on that. The final point which I want to say, Mazi Jonathan, I've tried more than 1 month to contribute into your program, but due to the number of calls, I'm not able to do that. I want to use Igbo dialect here. Biko Mazi, as you know, achụcha egbe ajọ nnekwu ọkụkọ ka ihe ọ pụrụ ime. Kita bụ mgbe anyị nwa bụ IPOB ga-achịkọta be anyị ọnụ. I've done everything to ask Mazi Chinasanwo question directly, but I was not able to. Mazi, our media warriors are no more together. That question has been thrown to Mazi Chinasanwo. He has never dealt with it in a very good way. Media department with a big lacuna. Our brother in South Africa, I told me here, he instigated trouble in IPOB media warriors and attacked them. And foot problem. Media team are disorganized here. The likes of Metu, Paula Chepe, Ejiro, many of them. That our brother Meche in IPOB poor. And the leadership has not think is wise for them to bring everybody together. Now that auto criminals has been able to, we have dismantled them. Biko Mazi and Mayo. This is the time we need to come together and put a strong media force to push our cause. I want to leave it here, Mazi Dalo.
There were. Thank you very much. And people should also understand I'm announcing that Mazi Chinasanwo will be here on Friday. And you'll be in the best position also to answer. But what I know, IPOB media is ongoing anyway. Sometimes when maybe somebody is tired, you can go and take a rest and come back stronger. That's one thing I would say. Caller on WhatsApp. Please go on. I think you'll be the last caller. Caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Go on. Yeah, Mazi. Mazi, your voice is echoing. Please remove it from speaker. Otherwise, we'll not get what you are saying clearly. Remove your phone from speaker. Yes, it's better. It's better.
Okay, yes. Chigos Chinedu calling from Istanbul.
Yeah, Mazi.
Okay, there. Mazi Chika, achọrọ m te ịgbariela anyị ya, achọrọ m te ịgbariela m na about our Igbo businessmen. Ọbụla ọkpatala ego, ọbụla ndị Igbo akpatala ego, ọchịchị adịghị agụ. Asụ ogobo onye, asụ m na Aso Rock is above for ndị Igbo. Only Igbo make it to one. So achọrọ m te ikulu ọda gbariela anyị ya from this angle. Then because after the Civil War, our parents 20 pounds, despite all the money, then also to I'm Biafra time runde Babiala, Biafra, lot of Anyario, or go Likoto, Bob like Anyario, but indeed like that. So I took the barrier. Then second limbo for religion. Religion above Meji came. I can remember my people. You got to a good religion. Whatever. Whether do you believe in God? The first question was but maybe anyway instance in the superior logic where could you say that so Magic catch up you look to this angle, not just Maria from this angle, because as for Asorok is not good, it's no good area for you, Igbo people.
Mazi, repeat that question, that your first question, because in case somebody. Okay.
All right. Yes, that our people are battling that they are sufficient with their money. That they are not politically motivated. So for me, it could have happened at that angle. Asorok. Hello? Okay, there.
On one bem this thing, our people are battling go then and need a political. Only ki otaro yemku. Yata. Ihe butere okwu ahụ ka m sụọ na oyibo so that ndị ọzọ ga ndị nke na-adị adị ịnụ. I go on.
Go on.
Okay, what I was saying, what I said, I didn't say our people have gotten money that they don't need to be in Aso Rock. No. We were trying to analyze the issue of marginalization. And I gave instance of Obama's time and delegation he sent to LiVE and what they saw. I said, no, marginalization should be centered on political exclusion. Nanda na kpachapụ anyị inwe the same position opportunity ha nwere. And now we have to capitalize on that.
Mazi, are you the person on call, please? Are you in the toilet, please? If you call, you respect the people that are listening, please.
Exactly. No, I'm working. I just think to.
Okay. You can mute and be doing what you are doing and listening. Mazi Chika, go on.
So I said we cannot make a convincible argument that we are being excluded on economic angle. It will be a difficult thing, considering the level of, some of the things I on our own power, and our, ability to control at a larger scale the microeconomic structure of the country and beyond. So I'm saying the best line of argument I got political exclusion, which is obvious. And what can you political exclusion? Now has no how I got na achi and we semba no wuru kwese ebe anyị na-aga achụ we have to find a way and define our fate. So ihe m kwuru nwe ka m ji sị na anyị akpataghị ego na anyị nidere ị na-asọrọ ọkụ nwere ka m si kwuo ya. We are talking about line of argument as regards to marginalization. Mazi ama mmghọtago ihe m kwuru.
Yes, I think Mazi, I think ịghọtara ihe o kwuru. I think he's saying he's on work, no problem. Let me take this last caller. Let me take this caller. Mazi Scavenger. Mazi Scavenger, Bapu also, welcome to the program. Please go on. You'll be the last caller. You have been calling, that's why I pick you. Go on, please.
Professor Jonathan, thank you for taking my call.
Mazi.
Yeah, you're speaking to a brother who's in with the Scavenger. I'm calling from Africa Sud. Africa Sud is South Africa. I greet my leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a prisoner of conscience, who set up this radio Biafra, a citadel of knowledge and spirituality to educate us. And that is what you, Professor Jonathan, is doing. Maintain your speed, and you are blessed. Maintain your blessing too. Professor Jonathan, I want to talk to Mazi Chika Austin. You know, our people should know what the Biafrans in general, they should know the type of question they answer. And when they ask them a question, they should also know tactical how to put their question through or their answer through. Because when you look at Nigeria setup, you might, like the people who visited the eastern part of our side, the Biafra land. You know, when they see all those magnificent buildings and all those things, you ask yourself, is there any road that lead to that magnificent building? When you go into this building, you find out that it's lizard and cockroach is staying in that building. Because the people who are supposed to be there enjoying that building that they build are not there because they are in Lagos. They are marginalized. They cannot get any income in that Lagos, in that area called Biafra land, because they are marginalized already. And then the people who went to on the Biafra land, did they see any seaport there for them to say, no, they are not marginalized? Did they see any international airport? Now, if not, why don't you tell them, like the people who are asking questions? There are some statements that is made here against the Igbos. Among the people said that instead of him giving any job to a Biafra man, he can give it to Afghanistan man or somebody from Istanbul, or he can even give it to Somalia. So these are the words that shows that they also say that if a man, that Nigeria is their father's estate. So that means they exclude we, the Biafrans, or any other part of Biafra land. So we don't need to argue with them about building a house that nobody is staying, building a house that is not generating any income. These are not the way we should go on our argument. Because when you okay, the Kanu that they visited, the Kanu have dry seaport, Kanu have got the international airport, Kanu have got everything. So did you see any international airport in Aba or in Abakiniki or in anywhere in Biafra land or anything like seaport? So they should not consider about building, about us scattering. What makes us to scatter everywhere, even in the world, for that place? Does it mean that we don't love our place? So we should make our argument. When they bring this type of argument, we tell them why. We talk to Antonio Guterres why the implication of him bringing the 5 terrorist group into the military. And in Kanu, as they are traveling to Kanu, did they see any police checkpoint? But in Biafra land, there are hundreds and thousands of police checking points. Immediately back to Opela. Cement industry in Benin, you started to see every type of security. You can't even know their name, the name that you don't even know that it exists in Nigeria. So that argument of
yes, they see a magnificent building or we are generating our wealth from outside. It's because of conditions that make our fish to bend. That is why we are in America where we cannot eat the type of food we want. We cannot eat fresh food. We are conditioned. Thank you for taking my call, Professor Jonathan.
There were Mazi. Yes, what you said, you're right, but the aspect is this: you are talking to the foreigners that come what they saw by themselves. So, but it needs strong conviction. It needs strong campaign in order to channel, just like what we are saying, because without representation, you cannot have all these other amenities. You see different houses. You know, when somebody, an alien, a foreigner comes to your land, he judge you by what he see. Until you start explaining explanation, deeper explanation, that deeper explanation is what we are clamoring for. And they come from all of us, both our political class. And that is what we are doing. Mazi Chika Austin, please, can you make your departing short, departing speech before we close? Mazi, it's good having you here.
And
There.
I want to also thank our callers and listeners for every single contribution they made, including the wonderful questions. All we have to do is we must remain strong, resolute, and above all, consistent. At the end, we will definitely get what we want. There is no people on earth, historically speaking, who have maintained consistency and resolute that fail to achieve what they want. And ours can never be different. From here, I want to say good night. All.
Yeah, Mazi, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure having you in this conversation. And do not forget that today is the 29th day of January 2025. That's about Bochenko. And in this, our program, The Viewpoint, which we shall always continue. I want our people to understand that the journey of 1,000 kilometers begins with a step, and that is what we have taken, the step we have taken. And it is not something that you do maybe out of or by force to convince our people. It is a process. It is a process. What has been done in the brains of our people for many, many years, we are born into all these things. It is not going to be easy for it to be undone. Maybe in few days, in few months, or in few years. It is a process. And do not also forget, just like Buhari said, one mantra he said, one statement he made, which is correct, that if you are fighting corruption, corruption is fighting back. Because there are people that are benefiting from the gullibility of our people, which if they believe that if our people open eyes, now they will stop manipulating them and benefiting from them. So this is a process, as I've been saying. We must know how to organize ourselves or learn to be organizable in our marketplaces. Not only something you do and get one result now. When you organize yourselves in the marketplaces, the money you contribute monthly, little money per shop, and build fire extinguishing vehicle, buy it and keep it. Even if it stays there, no fire, you don't pray for fire, you continue maintaining it. That is how it is. You see, nuclear weapons that America and Russia and others have, for the past 50, 60 years, more than, they are still there. They are maintaining them. They never use them. Russia never ever used its nuclear weapon, but it's there. In case it has a deterrent. That is how reasonable people think. You cannot say, oh, I'm not using it anywhere. This thing is of no use. After 1 year, 2 years, no fire. And you say, no, I know they pay again. And you dismantle it. Maybe that night you dismantle it, there will be fire. That is, you prepare for something continuously. That is it. Because anything can happen. As I said, vehicle insurance is obligatory. You have been paying it since 20 years. You are driving cab, but maybe you never have any accident or serious accident that warrants insurance company to pay you or to do any repairs. But you are still paying because you never knew. You never know. That is how things are. So our people should understand, the politics of organization. When we become organizable, we can pull mountains with the talents we have, with the ambitions we have. The only thing that is lacking is organization. Once we are able to achieve this, I'm telling you, the sky becomes our limit. No person can stand in our front. That is what Britain saw, and they are making sure that we become unorganizable. We become disorganized. That is the only way you can destroy a people. That is what is called divide and rule, putting separations. But we must continue because we have known their acts or their tactics. So, thank you for listening. Biafra remains our religion. Biafra remains our ideology, and we must continue until Biafra is restored. Remember that on Friday, Mazi Sanwo-Olu will be here on this hallowed platform in order to also talk to Biafrans and take questions and answers if necessary. Thank you for listening. From me, Mazi Jonathan Chinedu, together with Mazi Chika Austin, it is simply good evening.